So I was in Ohio at the warehouse, and one of the guys who was helping me with the project started to talk to me about the CNC machines, and he told me about his truck and how he's putting a larger throttle body on it, and he needed a spacer. He asked if the CNCs could do work like that. Told him it would be a piece of cake, and so we kind of sketched out a quick drawing of the port and the little port up above, and we were able to print that out in 1:1. He cut it out and kind of put it on the throttle body as a gasket, and it fit really well. I mean, really well. I came home and I looked at the outside of it and I thought, man, there's got to be an easy way to do this. How could I get dimensions without, getting a hold of him and trying to figure out how to do that? He sent this photograph, and what I did is I thought, what about RAS to VEC? That could really help me out. So that's a converter that's in Mastercam, but typically when you do that, it traces edges, and so this would be a problem, and this would be a problem wherever it's dark. I could get rid of this, and then I thought, well, if I put that in Photoshop to get rid of this, why don't I just knock out the back and then start painting all of the silver? And so I took this, I kicked the contrast down and the brightness way up, and that really brought it all to about this color. And it was real easy to select and just paint the rest in. And so I got a really high contrast image that went from one to the other, and it worked out pretty well. And then I took it into Mastercam, and so this is Mastercam here, and we had those ports with some dimensions, and we tested that out. That worked great. So the next thing that I did is I took that scanned image, and that looked like this. Now you can see there's a little bit of weakness right here, and if we were going to make a 1-inch thick block, I'd have to reinforce that a little bit. But what I did is I got the wireframe and basically kind of roughed it in. Then again, we took this and printed out a 1:1 PDF. He was able to cut it out and see how it worked, and it was a really good fit. In fact, I think we added a little bit more to this edge, and that was all. So after we had that done, I went ahead and created a solid, and so now I know what it looks like. This is how thick it's going to be. And then I went ahead and put tool paths on it, and I started with a peck drill, and then I did some high-speed tool path. Now, I was running a brand new table that I haven't cut anything on, and I wasn't sure how well the clamping was going to work on it, so I was very conservative in my feed rates. And high-speed tool path is really nice to use because it's based on chip load. So I went ahead and did that, and then I did a ramp contour around the outside edge. And it turned out pretty good. So let's take a look at some of the tool path, and obviously this is the part that I've got done. And here's a picture of the fixture that we're going to use, and I plan on putting that out as a program as well. This fixture worked awesome. I've got a hole on each center, and you can see they're staggered, so I've got 1 inch between here, or 2 inches between here and here, and 1 inch between here and here, so I can space those out and really get a nice holding, clamping environment. And yeah, let's take a look at what we've got. So you can see I'm doing a helical move in here, and the first time that I cut, I was too slow on the feed rate, so I doubled it to about 40 inches a minute. And you can see this is really just cutting smooth. Notice on the back side of that, when it cuts the wall before the chips hit, you can see my finish is just beautiful. So I'm really happy with that. Obviously I could have been more aggressive and everything, but like I said, just starting out, I've got an MDF table with 1-inch holes, and I overlapped them, and then I've got some regular dog style clamps. And man, I'm really happy with the way that this clamped down on this. I'm going to take a look next at the outside channel. Okay, so again I had to make an adjustment to the feed rate. So I'm cutting this time, and I'm doing it 40 inches a minute, and my step down is every time I go around the whole part, I'm cutting 200 thousandths deep. Again, I didn't know what to expect. I've never cut on this table. I don't know how well the clamps are going to hold, and I was a little bit worried about chip evacuation. So I was very conservative in it, but man, it really cut nicely. I also set my zero on this to just barely the top of the part so that I knew I wasn't cutting the table all the way along. Okay, so here's a picture of the finished part cut out sitting on the table. And like I said, later I'm going to share the project and the files to be able to make this table. I'm really happy with it. It's made out of 3/4 inch MDF. It's very flat. I was able to set my tool heights and not cut the table. It was really nice. You can see that the part broke through. I literally, it was almost paper thin when I cut it. I just took a quick punch it out. No problems. The clamp held very well. I may change my design just a little bit because a few of the clamps, if I really torqued down on it and I wanted to torque down on it, I was insecure, I could break them. So I may change that. Anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this, and I look forward to putting some more projects on the website.